to my YouTube channel. I am Claudia and I make self-development content. So basically, I hope you guys are okay. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you're having a nice day, and thank you for clicking on this video. So basically I'm making this video because the previous video that I made is linked with confidence. I don't know if you can hear the fireworks outside. I'm sick of it, but the previous video I made was about self-confidence, and this video is about valuing yourself. And both things linked together, so I couldn't make one without making the other. Well, valuing yourself really boosts your self-esteem, of course. It boosts your quality of life, it boosts your confidence. All of these things are really intertwined and are really crucial for your health and well-being. I notice, and I believe that most people have noticed that currently there is a decline in people having empathy for others and for themselves. In this case, I really encourage you to build empathy and compassion for yourself. You are not able to show people kindness if you're not able to show yourself kindness. You are not able to be empathetic with people if you're not empathetic with yourself. Your quality of life will not be ideal. It won't be where you would like it to be if you are unable to have empathy and kindness to yourself. I mentioned in my previous video that my easiest way to show kindness and empathy, or remember to be kind to myself, is to maybe look at a baby photo of myself. I see that little child and I want to keep that baby safe. That baby is cute, that baby is lovely. One thing as human beings, when we see a child, a newborn, there's so much celebration, there's so much love, there's so much kindness and so much empathy when you see a newborn. However, the older we get, there is less empathy, there's less kindness that is shown to a child who later on grows to become a kid, then becomes a teenager, young adult, and so on. I believe that people should not forget that they were a child at some point, and at the same time they still need to nurture and care for themselves. At least they should still remember to nurture and care for themselves. If you don't care for yourself, no one will. You are all you've got. You will be with for the longest time. If you don't do this, you'll start relying on other people to give you the things that you cannot give to yourself. And it's not fair on other people. It's not fair on other relationships or friendships that you have, because people are not responsible for you entirely. They're not responsible for you. You are responsible for yourself. And later on, okay, if you have certain commitments with people, then okay, that's when you both need to care for each other. But until then, and even at that moment, you always still need to care about yourself. You still need to prioritize yourself. You still need to be kind to yourself. Another thing I notice is that many people, they do invalidate their own emotions, or who invalidate other people's emotions. So clearly, thoroughly observe, you realize that they are not empathetic with you. They don't show kindness. They lack emotional vulnerability with you because they lack it with themselves. I like to see this approach because it makes me understand people on a deeper level, but not just that. It then makes you realize that, listen, it's not your fault, it's more on them. It has more to do with them than it has to do with you. And at the same time, it gives you space to not hate or despise a person for not giving you entirely what you want, but you realize that, oh, they're probably still a work in progress. Maybe what they don't know now, you already know it now. And they will figure it out at their own given time. My second tip is to set clear boundaries. People underestimate the power of setting boundaries, but not just that. We usually expect ourselves from other people. That's what I wanted to say. We expect ourselves from other people, and other people expect themselves from us, which, as you can clearly see, that's quite of a chaotic approach. Stuff establish to yourself, what are your boundaries? What are some things that you're like, this, I can't stand this cannot happen, no way. Like, these are things that I don't want at all. And not only that, once you know that, you need to respect that. If maybe something is happening and you find yourself in a situation where your boundaries have been crossed, you can do two things. Either like express non-verbally that I don't like this, You know what I mean? Like you can maybe withdraw your energy a bit or something like that. Or just say straight up like, listen, I didn't like that. For me, maybe this one is small, but people tend to call me Claudia rather than calling me Claudia. And when they do it repetitively after I've told them that, listen, it's Claudia and not Claudia. This is just a small example. It's just a small example because that's just the only thing that comes to my mind. I don't know. I love Claudia because Claudia is how I've been called my whole life. That's the name my parents gave me and that's how it's pronounced. So when someone repetitively maybe calls me Claudia, having told them that, listen, it's Claudia, not Claudia, I maybe point out, like, I asked them, like, why are you calling me Claudia? I've already told you that it's Claudia. So that gives them a chance to, like, you know, start maybe saying my name correctly. Like, maybe in the end of the day, like, I believe it's your name. Like, your name needs to be respected. Like, many people can have names that have more complicated pronunciations or whatever that some people can find potentially challenging, but it is a person's right to be like, oh no, it's actually said like this but not like that. Yeah. And some people who actually value and respect you enough to start to pronounce your name, to say it accurately, like that's something that's obviously, that means they care about you, that means they respect you. So yeah, that's just a little example. So it's either like, I rather like speak up to a person, tell them straight up like, I prefer this rather than that. I didn't really like this, please don't do that again, that hair, or you know what I mean. Yeah, sometimes people don't know what they're doing, but sometimes people actually know what they're doing and deny that they, you know, that's when people are a bit out there, like toxic type of thing. But if you find yourself in that energy, don't give them energy, just let them be. They have other things they're dealing with. But anywho, but yeah, just create strong boundaries. If you're not comfortable with something, say no. Tell them, I'm not feeling this, this is not my vibe, it's not, I don't like going to this place, it's not me, I don't like this. And when maybe your friends make plans in the near future, they remember, Claudia doesn't feel comfortable with this, she doesn't like this, she's not used to this, and they'll maybe make plans that actually consider you, because a normal good friend would do that. If they don't, they'll probably go hang out without you, and either way, that tells you if someone actually cares about you and if they do not. And in the end of the day, yes, whether they consider you or they don't, like, it's their own stuff. It doesn't mean that you're not worth that. That doesn't mean you're not worth that respect. That doesn't mean you're not worth caring for. It means that they might not be in the right headspace to consider it, and it's fine. I believe as people, we tend to forget, we focus too much on our negative traits than focusing on our positive traits, because we all have brilliant traits. We have so many good things that only us have, but there are obviously some traits that other people can have, which is fine, but whatever. My point is, like, realize what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. When you identify your strengths, don't diminish them, don't belittle them. Some strengths take certain people decades, ages to acquire, but for you, maybe it's something that comes to you naturally. Those are things that are worth admiring. Those are things that are worth celebrating, and you should feel empowered based on certain strengths that you have. The way in which you talk to yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you carry yourself, self-care. Don't neglect yourself, guys. Don't neglect yourself. I'm currently 19, and every single person, every single video that gives advice or whatever, podcasting, they all basically say the same thing. They always mention, cherish your teens, cherish the time you were a young adult, look after yourself, your body's looking the best right now, and they will really thank you for looking after it. And once you get older, so go to gym, care for your skin, put your sunscreen, like all these nice things. Guys, care for yourself. You are gorgeous, you are a diamond, you are precious. Obviously, you're no longer a child, so you won't have mommy, daddy, they won't be babying you no more. You have to start taking care of yourself, start being independent. A lot of things happen in our life, and there are so many people that unfortunately, like, let themselves go and neglect themselves because of something bad happened. But no, your job is to build your self-care routine, your self-care lifestyle, in a way that is consistent. Like, it's part of your routine, that's part of your identity. There's some people who I know, they started maybe going to gym at a young age as maybe a coping mechanism, but now they still keep going, not just because it's a coping mechanism, but now it is part of their lifestyle. 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line, we know that bodies will thank them for actually investing so much time, efforts, discipline, and resilience to building their bodies. You know what I mean? So yeah, be very strict, be very vigilant in terms of negative talk. In my previous video, I mentioned how crucial it is to set boundaries with what you say to yourself. One thing about us as human beings, we radiate energy. We always radiate energy, believe it or not. There's some people who believe it, there's some people who are like, oh, what's she talking about? But our hearts radiate a certain frequency, and our energy radiates a certain frequency. That's why you can pick up energies of people depending on their mood. You can tell how someone feels just by their presence. Their facial expression tells it. I personally, how I feel, it shows straight away. And that is also why I am a strong believer of what I think, how I speak to myself, because these things are really, really crucial. There was a study I came past. It was mentioning how, like, a child who was spoken positively by their parents compared to a child who was spoken negatively by their parents, how basically they grew up and how these factors determined who they kind of became. As you can imagine, the child who was spoken positively to, a child who was who was nurtured with positive affirmation and positive words, they grew up to become confident, secure, and amazing individuals with healthy attachment styles, people who are successful, because they believed in themselves, because that energy was put into them. Their mind was trained into believing that, okay, I am loved, I am cared about, I am worthy, I am this, I am beautiful, I am this. But the child who was always spoken to, oh, you'll never succeed, you never do well, the child didn't really end up doing well. They ended up having more struggles with their health and well-being. So obviously, if you're a parent watching this, you definitely know this. I mean, you should know this. Well, yeah. But yeah, that's just a study that I came across that really obviously stuck to me. So I'm just sharing it with you guys. So be very critical of negative thoughts and negative mindset. The environment in which you are is really crucial. It's really, really, really sacred. If you spend time with people who don't care about you, it's just a matter of time before you start not caring about yourself. It's just a matter of time before you start feeling horrendous. But when you spend time with people who love you, who cherish you, the quality of your life is better. Self-esteem is better. Your heart is at peace. Sometimes things don't need to be said. Energetically, you feel like you shouldn't be in a certain environment. Energetically, you already know that, oh, the presence of certain people are actually draining you. Like, energetically, you can feel it. Energetically, so when you feel energetically uplifted in the presence of people, you already know, your body, your mind already knows that you are in a vibrational alignment, or these people should be in your life because they increase your vibrations. But if you are in the presence of people who do the opposite, intentionally or unintentionally, your body, your mind, you instantly feel it. And sometimes when you're in the presence of someone who is actually not meant to be around you, you will notice you'll be more quiet, you'll be more withdrawn, you'll be more likely to be on a fight or flight headspace. And there was a woman who was talking on a podcast, and she mentioned that in situations like that gets people to operate from a reptilian brain. I've never heard this from any other video, but yeah. And obviously, as reptiles, they think about like food and survival. That's the only thing they care about. They don't have the complexity. They don't think based on the complexity of how human brains operate. So when you find yourself in that certain mindset, you can obviously understand that there's nothing really good coming out of there. Spend time with people who value you, who care about you. Your family, your loved ones, your whoever it is that is important. And one thing I want to remind you guys is to focus on the quality of relationships that you have rather than the quantity. I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it. Like, sometimes we forget, like, I feel like we forget that there are people who care about us. So many people forget that there are people who care about them, but they expect that, oh, because those people are not there with them 24/7, that they are not cared for or they are not loved, which is entirely false. If you sit down and count, oh, you got mom that love you, you got dad that love you, you got your brother, you got your sister, you got this other sibling, you got your auntie, you got, you know, the list goes on. Like, you actually start understanding that, oh, these people care about me. I'm actually loved. People, like I was mentioning, people underestimate the good things that they have and focus more on the things that they don't have. People focus on the lack rather than the abundance. The more you focus on the abundance, the more abundance you attract. Guys, my next tip is to practice gratitude. Believe me that you are living at least one of the prayers that you have prayed at some point in your life. Like I said, once we have something, we kind of neglect it, we kind of don't value it. We forget the tears, the prayers, the fastings or whatever that we made in hopes that our prayer would be answered. And now that your prayers are answered, you're not being grateful for them. You are forgetting what it took to get them. You are forgetting. You are not being grateful. You are not being grateful. Why? Just spend time to be grateful for the all wonderful things that you have. Trust me that at least one prayer that you have prayed has been answered at the time you're watching this video. But you're not, you forget to be grateful. Don't forget to be grateful, guys. Everything is just not given. Everything is just not given. Every blessing is worth being grateful for. So, to value yourself, stop people pleasing. Be yourself, be authentic, and don't apologize for it. It's better for you to be yourself, find your tribe, be aligned, stick with them. You have your people for life, rather than morphing your personality, being someone who you don't like, and still end up losing people who don't resonate with it. Like, it's still, if you morph yourself into being a person you're not, you're still going to lose. So who you are, you show up as them unapologetically, you will end up in the end eventually finding your tribe, finding your people. But when you're not your true self, when you're not your true self and you're trying to, I don't know, be someone who you're not, it is draining. Your self-esteem is low. You're not happy with yourself. You probably don't even like those people who you're doing all of that to be around. You know what I mean? So just be yourself, be unapologetic. In the end of the day, your decisions that you make are truly made because you believe in them, not because of someone else, not because of how someone else feels, not because it fits into someone else's agenda than it fits with yours. Truly value yourself, you cannot be a victim. You have to see yourself to be a powerful entity. One thing about powerful people, they are not seen to be fragile. That fragility is not believed, which is kind of sad, because a strong individual still needs vulnerability. But aside from that, you need to take utter responsibility of your life. If you are not somewhere where you want to be right now, you cannot put that power on someone else. This is no one else's responsibility. You have the complete power and authority to alternate your reality. If something is not where it is right now, you are not probably vibrationally aligned. You are not. One thing, you only get things if you're on the same vibration. You only meet people if you're on the same vibration. If those things are not working, if it's not aligned, it won't work. And regardless of how much you try, it won't work. So until you figure yourself out, until you have responsibility and actually take action aggressively, don't do aggressively. Until you take the action aggressively and consistently, you're not going to see no change in your life. You won't see any change in relationships. You won't see any change in nothing. Again, that removes power from other people and it gives you more power. in the end of the day, like, you have to see yourself, okay, you're a powerful person, you're a strong person, cool. That means how other people feel won't determine you. How people's opinions won't determine you. People won't determine or establish your happiness. People won't have anything to give or take from you because you are already your own person. You're only self-sufficient. You were whole before you met certain people, and you are whole when people leave, and that is really it. Once you stop seeking validation from other people, you will find peace, you'll find happiness, you'll find fulfillment, and there is nothing more draining than always trying to prove. You have nothing to prove to anyone. These people that you're trying to prove things to, they don't like themselves, they don't like their lives. You wouldn't trade lives with them. Why are you doing all of this? I believe it's self-harm, guys. Like, I don't know, at this point it is self-harm. If you wouldn't trade yourself with your life with someone, if you wouldn't want to be them, if they don't like themselves, if they're not happy with themselves, all these things, what is the point? Like, why are you trying to impress them? Why are you trying to put their needs, why are you trying to search for their validation? Their validation, is that validation going to pay your bills? It won't pay your bills, it won't boost your grade, it won't get you an admission, it won't get you nothing. So what are you doing? What are you doing? You are the person who still gets up every day. You are the person who pays your bills. You're the person who cleans your room. You're the person who wipes your tears. You're the person who goes there, puts that fight up every day, and actually comes back home safe. You are the person who does that for yourself. So we are reaching towards the end of the video. I've got 2 more tips, and you guys can go to bed, go to sleep, go to work, do whatever. But yeah, so my second to last tip is to forgive yourself. In the end of the day, we only operate based on what we thought we knew was best. And even when we operate in certain ways that we are not too proud of, there is always a reason behind it, and it's fine. You have to forgive yourself. If people do you wrong, 9 times out of 10, you will probably forgive them. So why can't you forgive yourself? Why can't you give yourself the closure that you seek? Certain actions that you make don't define you. People take time to grow. People take time to get certain experiences. And unfortunately, before you do something wrong, you did not know better. And it's fine. Like, it's fine. That doesn't make you less worthy. That doesn't make you less deserving. It doesn't define you. It doesn't make you less worthy. And you have to embrace every single thing as an opportunity to learn and grow. If, let's say, you did something wrong and you try to ownership, accountability of your actions, and you have done your part. Once you take accountability and start working yourself to become a better person, you don't owe anything. Like, you are still deserving, you are still worth loving, you are still worthy, and you are not worth less than you should be. Use your past lessons to make better decisions in the near future. Use your past lessons to do better, because now you know better. Before you didn't, and now you do. Practice patience. Be highly patient with yourself. You would show patience with people that you love, but you wouldn't show patience with yourself. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Your own journey is gradual. You're not gonna change like this. Like, you need time, you will need patience, you need so many things, but these things cannot take place if you are not patient with yourself. Give yourself the love that you give others. Give yourself the grace that you give other people. You remember that to value yourself is basically you need to believe that you are worthy, because you are worthy. It's just, you are worthy. Don't forget to love yourself, practice self-love, be patient with yourself, be grateful for the things you have, be compassionate, show yourself the empathy, show yourself the love that you would show to other people who you care about. One thing I noticed, some people actually show more kindness to their enemies than they show to themselves. If you are watching this video and you believe that this is you, please be kind to yourself. How can you be kind to someone who wasn't kind to you, but you're not kind to yourself? But that's really it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that this video resonated, and obviously share a nice comment down below, and I shall see you on my next video. Bye.